I'll renew then another episode of Lay the Draw. I got quite a few games on yesterday, as you can see. No disrespect to, I think it's Serbia and Croatian league teams, but these names started doing me head in when I was trying to find out the scores and things. Even laying them was an absolute nightmare. Like I say, no disrespect. Hopefully we'll get on to some more higher profile games, or more common to us in the UK, should I say. You can see I got on 14 games yesterday, and there's a little bit to go through, and at the end I've got some exciting news as well. I made a few mistakes as well, and I'll go through those in turn. Things didn't go 100% to plan. However, as you can see, instead of putting 1s and 0s in the strategy 1, 2 and 3, because I'm now doing strategy 3 and I'm keeping a check of the games as they go, what I'm able to do is retrospectively go back and put in the profit and loss for strategy 2 and 1. When I was doing strategy 1 in the first week and 2 in the second week, I wasn't able to do strategy 3 because I didn't know the cash out values or the odds when the first goal went in, because I wasn't keeping a check on it. I was just exiting at the end of the game. So that's an advantage. And as you can see, strategy 2 is totally picked up from last week. It's typical, isn't it, when I was putting the trades in last week on strategy 2. I think I was at £25 down, I can't remember now. Let's have a little look. This is last week's sheet. Oh no, sorry, I was only 16 down. I think, yeah, I was 25 down until the last day, and I don't know, couldn't have been. It says 16.90 down there. That was last week when I was doing strategy 2. Anyway, right, okay, I think the first week I was £25 up on strategy 2. Is that on here? Is on this one? Yeah. So the first week when I was doing strategy 1, I was 8.30 up, but I would have been £25.86 up on strategy 2. I jumped onto strategy 2 not solely because of that, but I thought, well, it was a big factor, because I thought, well, if I'm not exiting the trades until the end of the game, I might as well just put the trades on before the game starts, because strategy 1's putting it on half time when it's 0-0 or 1-1. So the second week I jumped on the strategy 2, and typical sod's law on week 2 when I done it, we lost £16.90 on strategy 2. I'm not sure, I think we still lost a bit on strategy 1, but I'm not sure if I got that number in here. Can't see it. And then this week we've got off strategy 2 and we've moved on to strategy 3. And even though strategy 3 is only made £8.90 and strategy 2 is currently at £31.30, and that's after 2 days. You can see how many games there's, about 10 or 12 games there on yesterday. Tuesday I done 10 matches, traded on 10 matches, and yesterday I traded on 14. You can see on strategy 2 we're £31 in profit. And on strategy 3 we're £8.90 in profit. Even strategy 1 this week is £5.30 in profit, so they're all in profit. And the main reason being is that out of those 24 games we've only hit 2 draws, which is pretty good, because when you look at the previous weeks you can see all the draws coming down here. I mean, there's still less than what we're winning, but obviously a draw on strategy 2 takes up a lot of the liability. So this week I think we have been a bit more fortunate this week, unless last week was the only blip. Either week 1 was fortunate and same as this week fortunate, and week 2 was unfortunate, and week 2 was a blip, or week 1 and 3 have been a blip. Again, you can see, like, we're 3 weeks in and we're still sort of investigating, trialing, looking at data, things like that. So as you can see, on Tuesday we had 1 draw, which was 1-1, which means we still won the trade on strategy 3, because we're exiting the first game, and that's why our profits are lower. I think I'd prefer to take a profit in most of the instances than take the high profit and get hit with, especially after what happened last week. So is it worth going through some of these games yesterday? Oh yeah, okay, I'll go through this bit here. I think I explained Tuesday's and yesterday's video, and so going through these, I'll take it from the top. I've also taken out whether we've won or lost a trade, because effectively I'm just saying we've won a trade if it's positive, and we've lost a trade if it's negative, basically now, because muddies the waters a little bit when you're doing you're cashing out after 70 or 80 minutes. So this game here, you can see we lost 41 pence of our £2 stake. The reason for that was the goal went in the 54th minute. The first goal went in the 54th minute in the second half, and it was the home team, TPS. Everybody will know TPS and all the star players who play for them. They took the lead at home against HIFK, another team that rolls off the tongue. Now HIFK were the favourites and TPS were the underdogs, and although TPS were at home and they scored in the 54th minute, that meant the loss we were running at just reduced down to minus 41 pence, so there was still like a slight loss there. I say a slight loss, but it's 41 pence, it's about a fifth of £2, is it? Yeah, about a fifth of £2, so about 20% loss there. And that's simply because the goal went in to the underdogs. I think that would have been even a bigger deficit if the underdogs had been away from home. It's kind of the way it works. But in hindsight, if we'd stayed on at the end of the game, we would have actually won £2 there, because it remained 1-0 until the end of the game. But obviously, the strategy is the long term. We can take a few losses as long as we have more wins than losses, especially with this strategy, because it's going to be few and far between where we'll make the big losses on strategy 3. You can see the big losses here on strategy 2. We've only had 2 this week, but last week we had quite a lot. And when the lay odds are higher for the draw, they're even bigger. But yeah, we have smaller ones, albeit bar this one, which I'm coming on to now. The only time we will suffer a bigger loss is when it's still 0-0 going into the latter part of the game. Now this game here, you can see the liability was £5.20, and we lost £5.20 on strategy 1 and 2 because it was 0-0 at half time and it was 0-0 at full time. But with strategy 3, because we're cashing out before the end of the game, if it's still 0-0, we don't lose as much. We still lose more than the £2 stake that we put down, but it's not as much. And I did say that I was going to cash out in about the 70th or 75th minute. I left this one going through the 80th just to see how it affected the price, and I think I could have got away with like a good 75% less, so I could have lost £3 or even a little bit less than £3 if I cashed out in the 70th or 75th minute. And I'm going to start tweaking that bit and looking at that bit in a bit more detail now. It is the only game that was 0-0 leading into the last sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes anyway yesterday. So I need some more examples where I can I'm going to do like a little table of the cash out values. This one was the home team who were favourites, you can see there, but it was only 1.8, so they weren't like firm favourites like something like 1.31 or 1.27 even there. They were at home as well, which makes that even sort of wider odds, if you like, because normally if you're at home your odds on, like down here you've got this 1.33 where the home team was a favourite. But in any case, it stayed at 0-0. Should have probably got out in the 70th minute, so I lost a few more pennies there, and that's what I'm going to look at now. Well, not now, but going forward I'm going to look at that, how to get out. You can see some of these. This one here, we only won 18p. Now, at the end of the day, I'm saying only 18p. We only put £2 down. 18 pence is nearly 10%. If you're looking at, say, 20 pence for your 10% on the £2, it's not far off. So 20, if you could do that for every single trade and your money grew 20% every day, you'd be laughing. This was NK7, Kevin 7, Siban 7, however you want to pronounce that. Apologies to any fans out there. There might be one, you never know. They were 1.49 at home, and they scored in the 7th minute. So they scored really early on, and you'd think, oh well, that's that, then they've won the game, kind of thing. So you'd expect the odd. You would maybe expect the cash out to be a little bit more than that. But at the end of the day, it's only one goal ahead, and I think the saying goes is one goal's not always enough, even if you've dominated the away team, or the underdogs can always come back into the game. So they did a little bit. I don't know how it went. I don't know if it went to 2-0 and then or 1-1 and then 2-1, but they still only won 2-1, considering how much of a favourite they were to win the game. So again, we just get in and out the 18p, and honestly, strategy 3 seems a lot more like trading the Betfair market than strategy 1 and 2, where strategy 1 and 2 you just feel as though you're putting a punt on, and you're putting a bet on. Well, you put a trade on, which feels like a bet before the game starts, and then you're just letting it go through to the very end, regardless. And that's not really trading. So I'm a lot more comfortable with 3, even though you can see we're only £8.90 up. I do believe last week, if we'd done this, we would have been. I wish I'd done it last week for strategy 3, because I think we would have been in a lot better profitable position than this week. Simply because you can see all the ones down here. I know the ones because we said we would have cashed out, but you know, some of these might have been like the 18p we've just looked at, but some could have been a lot more. Some could have still been a deficit, like we had the minus 41. Just spoke about the 18, we had the minus 3.75, but the high negative numbers on strategy 3 is only going to be when you're going into the last sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes, 0-0. Now these next 3, I don't think this total here for yesterday is reflective of what I actually done, or what, well, it's reflective of what I've done, but I don't think it's reflective for what I could have made. So you can see the total is only £2.37 for the day. These 3 here were horrendous. I don't actually know what happened. At least 2 of them were errors out of the 3, if not all. You can see those 3 had up to minus £1.45. The reason I say they were errors is what happened was I'd put the bets on, I was sitting in the living room watching a bit of TV and stuff, and having a drink. Just one drink, it wasn't like, the errors weren't fueled by alcohol or anything like that. And so I was using the mobile phone basically. I should actually have a laptop on my knee. Just thought I'd take a break because I'd been at the screen quite a lot of the day, so I thought I'd take a break. So I was just watching for goals going in on the mobile on the Betfair app, and I don't know, for some reason I've never seen it happen before, but I was like, when the goals went in, because obviously the goals went in these games, I tried to cash out, and I think I hit the wrong. I didn't hit the wrong ones, but after I'd cashed, you click it once to cash out, and then you click it again to confirm. And there's only the cash out button changes to confirm, and so when you click confirm, that's it as far as I'm concerned. You've clicked confirm. But when I done that, and bear in mind sometimes it doesn't cash out the whole amount if you don't get a match on the market, so you have to click it again and again. It ended up sort of like once Betfair finished doing its thing, I had the games I should have cashed out on were still there, and I'd actually cashed out on a different game that was like still 0-0 or something like that. So I haven't really got any idea. I would have to go. I'm going to go back and these 3 games and see what times I actually cashed out and try and marry them up with the time that the goal went in. They all kicked off at 2:30 in the afternoon. And you can see they're not even around about the same time even, because they all kicked off at 2:30. The first one of them went in the first goal went in the 6th minute, then the 30th, and then the 54th, which was obviously the second half. So they're not even close together. So how I've done that, I have no idea. But that's what happened, and I lost some money on some of them. It might be that this bottom one here isn't actually a mistake. Simply because, yeah, that one probably is not a mistake, because the underdogs were playing at home and they scored first in the 6th minute, so there probably still was a negative trade there. But so maybe it's just these top two are errors, but there was definitely errors because the wrong game were coming off. When I cashed out, the wrong game were coming off a list, and I need to have a look at the mobile app a bit more, because the games were jumping around. It's just something to be aware of. I've never really seen it before, it's never happened before, but I've only used the mobile app once, and I was actually out drinking with a few friends. So if any time I would expect to have problems, it would have been then, not last night. But the games, I don't know how they get sorted, but when I was looking at the Betfair screen, on the cash out screen, the games were bobbing around like up and down. They were resorting themselves quite regularly, like at one point it looked like it was every few seconds. I'm not sure if I was like doing that while I was clicking cash out. I don't know. I'm going to keep checking that in future, but the first thing I'm going to do to try and alleviate the problem is use a laptop instead of the mobile, because I'm convinced I was clicking on the correct games. I know probably a lot of people will say, oh, you must have been clicking on the wrong game, because it's never ever happened to me before, and that's fine. I get that, because it never happened to me before until last night. But anyway, I think them top two are probably errors. Just trying to see if did the actually might just be that top one, you know. Yeah, I think this game, obviously you've got the home team were the favourites and the away team took the lead in the 54th minute, so that might have been correct as well at minus 30p at that point, because obviously the underdogs were playing away from home. 54 minutes gone, minus 30, that might have been correct as well, but I can't see. I think this was an error definitely, because half an hour gone and the favourites, albeit they were playing away from home, took the lead. You can see I'm trying to avoid saying some of these names, by the way. So yeah, anyway, so I would have thought that shouldn't be minus 84 pence out of a £2 stake. And they've gone ahead in the 30th minute and they were favourites and actually won the game 3-0 as well. I think it's not actually these three that potentially errors that made the error, but when I've cashed out, when I'm assuming I'm cashing out on this game here, I've probably cashed out one of the other ones. I think this one is another problem. For some reason I got a full £2 stake back on that one, which is similar to say when you're not cashing out at all. But again, before the end of the matches, after I cashed out this one on the 80th minute, there was nothing left. There was nothing left to cash out on. There was nothing in my cash out list, so I couldn't cash out on this one because I'd already cashed out on it, as far as I was aware, and as far as Betfair was saying I'd cashed out on that one. But then I got the full £2, so I don't see. Although the first goal only went in the 72nd minute. Maybe I cashed out on that one when I was trying to cash out on some other one. I don't know. Apologies, don't really know what happened there, but it was a bit of a disaster, but not a disaster because we still made some profit. Going to stick another few games on hopefully tonight. I haven't looked to see what's on. There's not a lot. There's a lot of international football. But just to finalise and leading on to the exciting part is I've started, as I mentioned, I think I briefly mentioned yesterday, I'm looking at automation. I've kind of bottomed out what I'm going to use. I've got two. I've got one which is more like recreational and just a bit fun. Obviously I hope we'll still make some money on it, but it's more of a recreational and fun thing, and the other one's a bit more to the more serious professional end, where basically what it allows you to do is, if we're looking at strategy 3, it allows you to define all the rules. So for example, I can set it up to say, right, I want you to look at all the games where the favourites between 1.01 and 1.99 odds, like where the draw lays between sort of 4 and 6 or whatever, which we're not doing at the moment, by the way. We are doing the 1.01 to 1.99 for the favourites. And what it does, it looks through the whole market as games are starting. You can say, put me lay bet on the draw like 5 minutes before the start of the game, 10 minutes before the start, half an hour, that kind of thing, and it'll just pull the whole of the market, and you know, it'll lay these bets for you, and then that's the entry. You can also set the rules up for the exit, and it looks absolutely, well, it looks pretty good, and I'm pretty excited and even, I don't know, I was going to say hopeful there, but I don't think hopeful is the right word. I'm just excited about using it because I think it's going to do a hell of a lot to try and sort of bottom this out. Like, you can actually you can run stuff in like trial or simulation mode, it's called, whereby it simulates putting the bets on and exiting the market and showing you how much you would have made based on the current Betfair prices. Because what you do with the software is you link your Betfair account to it, and then you can go for real. So what I've been doing, I was testing it yesterday, I'm testing it today, I'm on a 7-day trial at the moment, but I am going to do a video about it, and I am going to do a video about the recreational one as well, so you can jump on and have a look. I'm going to put those out in the next couple of days, and I'm running trials on it today. And then, what day is it today? Thursday. On Saturday, I'm going to go in and run it live. I'm just tweaking a few of the rules. I don't know why, I just thought the problem, it's not a problem. What I found with the software, they give you some sample, strategies with it, because you can configure up multiple strategies as well. And they give you these multiple strategies across horses, tennis, football, which again is going to be really interesting. I'm so excited to start using it, and just honestly, you could go on for sort of days, weeks, months, years with it. But they give you example strategy, and believe it or not, one of them's lay the draw. So I just swiped that one straight away, and when I looked at it, there's some things in there that I hadn't even thought of, like market conditions and things like that, and you know, certain. Well, I have thought of leagues because I was trying to stay away from cup competitions, but to be honest, some of these games I've been trading on, well, not those ones there on Tuesday, but those ones yesterday, I don't even know like where half of the teams are. I think that's Norway, the bottom one. That'll be Spanish second or third. That's obviously under 19 international, under 19s international. That's even, like, when I said that was Norway, that's an under 19 Norway game, dear me. And then I think the remainder are split, I mean 1 or 2 Serbia and the rest are Croatia. I think all these NK ones are Croatia. But I think the point is, the other thing as well is you can you can set the rules to say I only want to get on a market where there's so much money being matched, you know, like you can say £10,000, £20,000, that just ensures it's higher profile, or there's enough liquidity in there. And you can also do things like, it looks unlimited at the minute. I mean, I'm assuming there will be things I can't do, but when I've just been looking at it after I've downloaded the trial, it looks amazing. But obviously there's a cost to it, and then there's an additional cost as well if you want to go further, but I'm just going to go in light at the moment. The only problem I do have with the software, and I will be going into this in the video, is that it works out a hell of a lot cheaper if you pay like for a year. And when I say a hell of a lot cheaper, it works out probably about, I think it was about 30% of the cost of a monthly subscription. I much prefer monthly subscriptions, firstly because you can jump in and out as and when you want to, or more importantly, you might use it for a month or two and find something better. If you've tied yourself in for a year, then that better thing's either going to have to cost you more money, like a double subscription, or that better thing waits until you've finished your year. You might tie yourself in for a year and pay your subscription and never use it after a month or two. There's always that risk. You might think, oh well, Betfair Trading isn't for me, and you've committed to a year. It's like match betting. If you jump on the match betting subscriptions or anything where you can get a discount for signing for even like like a mobile phone contract, you might pay less than over a year, but you're stuck with that contract for the year, and you've probably experienced it where there's better deals coming out left, right and centre for different contracts, different phones, different networks and things like that. And the other thing is, the second point is, I like when I'm doing my monthly breakdown, I do like to pay for things monthly because it fits in with the monthly profit and loss. Now, if I pay for this software over a year, I think it's about 100 and something, I can't remember, I think it's 130 or was it 130 plus VAT, because they add VAT on as well, or something like that, whatever it is. Say if it's 150 quid, that's about, actually make the sums easy for me, let's say 120 quid, that would be £10 a month. I'd much prefer to pay £10 a month than 120 over a year, because 120 for the year is going to come out like today, this month, March, and be accounted for then. I know you could obviously split it over, which I might actually do, and just say, but the money's already come out of the bank, so it's not as big as point one, I don't think, but it's still a factor in that you're paying that up front. It might also make you think, well, I need to try and make all that money back by doing this Betfair Trading. But I think I'm going to take the plunge, and for this one, because the saving is so big on an annual subscription, I probably will go that way. I think it's 30 quid a month for it's £29.99 for a month, and I think there might be a VAT on that. Even if you forget about the VAT, it's £29.99 a month, and if you pay it over a year, it works out at about £10. Maybe it is 130 quid, so it works out about £10 something a month, which, to be honest, is a hell of a saving compared to £29.99 a month. But again, you only get a 7-day trial, which I don't think is long enough to actually understand whether, if I did go the monthly subscription route for £29.99 a month, well, would I make that back every month? To be honest, starting off, I'd probably be happy with, say, 29 quid a month. Or would I? Probably not. It's probably a little bit low. 29 quid a week, say 30 quid a week, but is that achievable? I don't know. Watch this space. That's what we aim to do. We aim to see how much we can make. Obviously, if we'd stuck with TS strategy 2, we'd already be 30 quid up this week after 2 days. So, because obviously we didn't do any on Monday because there wasn't any football. Well, I'm sure I could have found something like I did yesterday. Just digging the dregs at the minute. But anyway, keep an eye out. I'm going to trial this automated trading system this weekend. Keep an eye out for a video early next week. I will have 1 or 2 videos out before I show you the sort of trial of that system, and a little mini review based on my experience so far, which is all it will be. I will have a couple of more videos out going through this list here, and add a few more games on here for the rest of the week, because I'm still keen on making sure strategy 3 works out, because I think this is what I'm going with, to be honest. I like the fact you're making like little and often, and like I say, I think these 3 were a bit of a mistake, and that one's just because there was a late goal for the underdog. But that's obviously, when you're suffering a loss like that, 41 pence, you can see how you're making it up really quickly on the gains, because if you look at the 2 above and the 2 below, neither of them are like lower than plus 41, so any one of those 4 would have cancelled that out. Whereas on strategy 2, when you're losing 550, you're banking on having 3 winning trades to cancel that out. And I think it's much more I wouldn't say risk-free, lower risk. Yeah, it's much more lower risk than strategy 2. Even though strategy 2 is 31 quid this week, we're only on 8.90 at the moment. I think I could have been a little bit more if I'd cashed out there in the 70th minute. I would have probably made that 9.90, and then the errors that came up here, because I don't think there's any way that should have been a minus 84 pence loss. But anyway, I'll put some more games in for today. I'll watch them tonight. I'll try and make sure they all start at the same time, so I can just spend a couple hours in front of the screen clicking them. I am going to use a laptop, so there's no mistakes on Betfair hopefully tonight. And I'll come back tomorrow or Saturday morning with an update on where we're at with strategy 3. But like I say, I've already started putting strategy 3 into my automatic trading trial of the system, which I've got for 7 days until mid next week. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Cheers now. Bye.